Namaste. Welcome to the Conscious Convo podcast. I am your host and teacher, Pippa Leslie. I'm here to share everything I learn, see, and channel. This podcast is for the conscious and curious beings who are ready to dive deeper into spirituality. I am so grateful you are here. Hey guys, welcome back. So this week is really exciting for me to introduce a friend back from the UK. I miss her really, really badly. Oh, we've had so many great times together. She's been on the podcast before, but not since I rebranded it. So I wanted to bring her on because she has a new book coming and I wanted to just share it with you all. Her name is Esther McCann and she's a manifestation coach. So hi, Esther.
Hey, Pippa. How you doing?
I'm good down under. It's so crazy because we've you helped me so much through my journey with Chris and then you just sent us together on the camera. It's so weird.
I know, and it just makes me so happy, seeing you guys, properly, well, obviously married, but reunited after everything. It's just amazing and magical that you guys, came together and everything that you're creating now, which is everything that you said that you would.
Yes. I think I do want to kick off that. It's in my head for some reason. I do get asked a lot about manifesting your dream partner and manifesting your dream career. And, you get this all the time. You talk about manifestation every day, all day. And I think, it's for me, I know about it. I'm doing it all the time. And I think the big thing that happened for me is I let go. I just surrendered. I was I didn't obsess over anything. And we were just before we pressed record, we were talking about, me manifesting Chris. I found the list I wrote when I was in Australia of what I wanted in a man. And within weeks, he appeared in my life.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I was talking to someone today and they were just asking some questions about manifesting. And they said that they had tried the whisper method, which is where you kind of, there's different ways that you can do the whisper method, but ultimately she said, I lay in the dark and I visualized the person I needed closure from and I whispered out. And then 2 days later, they reached out and said, look, I'd like to talk to you. And I said, but let me guess, you let it go, right? And she said, yeah, I didn't even think about it. I just got up the next day and got on with my life. And I said, and that's the key. It's when you literally stop looking and you stop checking and you just learn how to be present and content with exactly where you are, but knowing that thing's out there for you, that's when it comes. And I love that you have your Chris list that came to fruition.
If and when I ever write a book, I should say when, I need to put those in the book.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's inspiring. A little picture of Chris next to it and being all these these are all the things that he is.
It's uncanny when I reread that list.
Right.
Obviously he's much more than just the list, but just the little things I wanted, even for his height, his height and the things he's into and the way he kisses me and the way he holds me and what he loves animals, he's a frigging animal expert. I'm like, can you not get any more specific?
That is very specific, isn't it? That is very, very specific.
That is key though, isn't it? That is key. And I think, I'm excited to talk to you today because I think sometimes I need to go back to basics with manifestation because I find that I can get frustrated sometimes when the universe isn't delivering it on a plate. I'm like, hang on, I'm doing everything. I'm being a good girl. Why isn't it coming to me?
What are you doing? But you know what? Just human to human, I do it as well. I had this conversation with someone else today is when you get a new desire or you're in a new situation and you need to become self-aware again. You need to understand, oh, hang on a minute, this is a brand new desire. I've got attached to this. I've put this on a pedestal because suddenly I think this is important in my life now. And you just rinse and repeat that surrender process. I think there's certain things that you can approach it from the get-go and you say, hang on a minute, been there and got this t-shirt. This isn't my first manifesting money rodeo, but I know how to approach this. But you get something new, a new carrot is dangled in front of your face, oh, shiny thing, and you just go back to the drawing board and you just have to learn to do it again. And I always say to people, I think like surrender and trust is a muscle that you just really start to learn how to flex it. And it gets easier and easier. And you start to learn your ways of surrender the more you go along. But I'm like, is this like a once, you do this a one-time thing, you're surrendered for life? Absolutely not, because, emotions and things are fluid. So I'm always like, just have a bit of grace and compassion with yourself when you find yourself attached to something, because it's just part and parcel of being human, unfortunately.
As Wayne said, have a mind open to everything and attached to nothing. I got you, Wayne. Honestly, every time we're talking to someone, I'm like, there's a Wayne quote. That I have so many Wayne quotes, and they're probably not even Wayne's quotes. He's learned them from someone else.
I love it. It's like, just, yeah, the words of Wayne.
I love Wayne. Like, me and Esther were talking about this before we press record. Like, we all have things. If I was thinking of manifestation, I would go straight to Esther for like advice or help. And I kept thinking, what am I for the world? Like, if someone could say, what's Pip? I know all my close friends would go, well, she's a Disney fanatic and she loves Wayne Dyer. So I was like, well, I've just always loved Wayne's work, and I find him hilarious. I just think he's so funny, and he's guiding me all the time. He's on my wall. And I just think whenever I'm talking to people, I always quote him all the time.
Yeah, but I think that's it. It's like, this is what we were talking about, is that Wayne's teachings still live on. They are, immortalized in his books and his, in podcasts and in all the different media forms. And you are just, like you said, a messenger that you get to carry on, imparting his wisdom and his teachings onto other people. And a lot of people, whether it's Wayne, Abraham Hicks, the Tao, Neville Goddard, like, there's all these different, you can call them like guides, gurus, whatever title you want to throw on it, but not everybody understands the translation, the channeling, the message. And I think that it's fantastic to have people like yourself or whoever that is, who are able to take that information and give that to somebody who just needed to hear it a very certain way. And all it takes is like one sentence for it to click for somebody, and that can be life-changing. So if that's, your role as being like a messenger of and a translator of things that Wayne has said, then that's a powerful gift in itself.
It is. And just think, in 100 years, someone will be saying, I'm teaching Esther McCann's work. How beautiful is that? Or Pippa Mortenson's, but that gives you a lot of drive, doesn't it? Because you think, all the work that I'm doing and I'm teaching, that's a legacy you can leave.
Yeah, do you know what though? I don't say it to like put myself down, but I was talking to a friend today and I said, I've got a client call now. I said, it's 5 a.m. in the US, so she's up for that. And my friend was like, I want to be getting up at 5 a.m. for anything. I said, I know. I said, would I be getting up at 5 a.m. for myself? And I don't know. But like, I just think it's, for me, it's not about me, but it's more about the dedication of that person to their journey and what they want to get out of it. But I'm not going to lie, I've never got up at 5 a.m. for no one.
I think when I was chatting to a client yesterday we did a past life regression session, and like, can you just move down to the South Island, please? Because I need you to help me with this and this and this. And I was laughing. I said, that's like a big dream of mine. I want to be able to travel down to different parts of New Zealand and Australia and, work with some people there and go into their homes and stuff. And I actually feel like I'm Mary Poppins, because I can go in any situation and help someone with any kind of issue, within reason. And that's what I was talking to you about earlier on, is I've got this wealth of knowledge. I've got this huge toolbox with all these different things that I've learned. Yes. I might not have all these degrees and certificates on a wall, but I'm so full of knowledge and so much love. And every person that comes into this house, 'cause I've made this home in New Zealand just beautiful, they feel safe. And isn't that the key? That's all that matters, isn't it, really? Is that they feel loved and safe and seen and heard.
That's it. Like, I think for all of us, our job is to just love each other in our different forms and with our different gifts. And, we will reach and, energetically touch the right people and help them on their journeys. And I always say, like, I don't, I've got certificates in lots of different things.
Yeah.
But do I need to say necessarily, oh, it does come up obviously, but like EFT practitioner or whatever, and it's like, no, that's literally just a tool on my tool belt. And also, like, not every tool that I have is appropriate for the task. Like, do you use a hammer to, I don't know, God, this is making me sound like, this is how, like, unplumbery I am, but to like fix a leak under the sink or whatever, like, no, you use a different tool. And that's the great thing about energy healing, is that you can have different tools for different things. And that's it. Yeah. Mary Poppins with her bag full of fairy dust. And
I think it's a bit of like a mix of Mary Poppins and Fairy Godmother.
Yes, I would have said, I don't know. I'm like, oh, who would I put you down as? What, like as a Disney character? Like a Disney?
Yeah.
Oh.
Definitely. Well, I don't know, because I think Fairy Godmother energy is quite unique, because she just wants to have a nice time and she wants to make sure she's nice and pretty and she's got a nice dress and she's I
think I like Mary Poppins because she's also she's quite a straight talker, isn't she? And she puts the fun in it, but she's also she's there to really help people grow as well.
Yeah, definitely. So there's one question I think I might have mentioned this to you a while ago, but it's always in my head when I'm thinking about manifesting, desires and things like that.
Yeah.
I always, the imposter syndrome kicks in and goes, what is the point of manifesting if your life is already planned out? So if the next 50 years of my life, I'm meant to have 3 babies and this type of house, this car, blah, 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 blah. What's the point actively manifesting and sitting down having desires? Because the other part of me then kind of sits with the fact that you can change the course of your life. You can change. There's a path, but you can change the course of that. I believe you can. I was saying to Chris last week, I'm only one decision away from completely in my life 180 and going down to drugs and alcohol, even though I don't want to do that. But I'm saying the duality of the two, like, it's your choice, isn't it? It's your life. So I always kind of ponder with that idea.
Yeah. So do you think, so you're kind of asking, like, do you think everybody's almost like so soul contracted to a path that actually, like, it's almost to say like free will doesn't exist, and that all of these actions are
I don't believe that free will doesn't exist. I have this little niggle that if everything that's coming to me is already coming to me, what's the point sitting down going, I want this. It's that twist, isn't it? Of it's complex when you think about it, really.
I don't think if I'm being dead honest, like, I don't think we can fully know and understand, like, all the nuances of the spiritual realm and the spiritual journey. And I think when we finally get to return to source, love, paradise, whatever that is, then we will be like, okay, wow, and then it will all make sense. And it's also that thing of, like, within that, do you get the choice? Like, do you get to say, no, I only wanted to do this ride one time? Or is it a case of, like, no, actually I want to go back round the merry-go-round again, and I want to try and learn and ascend my soul in ways that I didn't last time? So my way of looking at life and manifesting is that everybody is born, like, certainly at the point before the soul hits the womb, I believe that everybody is just born kind of like, divine, limitless. They don't come with the baggage. But then obviously through, the programming and stuff, all the possibilities, the potentials and the positive belief systems and the empowerment and the belief that, like, well, yeah, why can't I be an astronaut? And, like, why, stuff's not limited. It's just there on tap. And the connection to, the divine is just there, but it's all the stuff that you experience as a human that clutters you up. And then really your journey is to go on a mission of remembering your truth and your divine nature and like relearning remembering those soul lessons. But again, like, you know, I say that, but then people have, you know, past life healings, they have past life trauma. So can I sit there and say that people come here with no baggage? Not necessarily. I don't know if I can say that, but I think ultimately it's just whatever it is it's an opportunity to be a human and to experience everything. Like
how I've got an image in my head at the moment, and what I'm feeling is that we're in like a meadow of possibilities, and you get drawn to certain flowers in this life because we all have different personalities. I love Disney, I love Wayne, I love travel, I love all these different things. So I'm going to be naturally drawn to those things. Well, you know, you're drawn to other things. So like, I always feel like this whole life, like you said, it's unlimited. You can have what you want. It's, you know, an abundant universe. So, you know, me and you could be stood in this field of dreams, and you could be like, oh, well, I like that black flower there because you love wearing black, where I'm pink bright, you know, so I'd be like, oh, I like that pink flower. So we've all got these unique, I mean, look at Soul. What you got me to watch Soul with Chris, the Disney movie. Like, that's how I see it, is that, okay, here's your soul and this personality. You're going to be a narcissist. You're going to be a kind, empathic person, all these different personalities. So you are naturally drawn to different things, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like that's if you want to look at it as that we are all source, and that source just wants to like have a human experience to experience like literally like the love and the depths of human emotion, then yeah, like it doesn't make sense that we would all like the same things. Like, it's beautiful that we like different things. It's beautiful that we've got different opinions that challenge each other, that grow each other. You know, I think that's an amazing thing. But I think you are right. Like, I think I mean, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be doing the work that I'm doing if I didn't believe that it was all for a reason. Like, is it not a little bit defeatist to just kind of sit down and go, well, I'm on my path anyway, so I'm not going to try and like,
it's boring. Yeah.
Just sit here and like, the whole point of manifesting is about your feeling state. So you still need to care enough about your life to want to adjust your feeling state to experiencing joy one day at a time, even if you are, I mean, obviously Abraham Hicks talks about the emotional scale. So it's not about trying to go from like, you know, 0 to 100, but just working your way back to better feeling states when you're not in a great place, and you know, choosing to expand from those states. But yeah, I don't believe it's a case of like, well, this is my lot, so I'm gonna sort of just plumb for this, and everything that I'm soul contracted to experience will come to me.
Yeah.
And I'll just
like it just pops in every now and then, that little ego niggle, and I'm like, well, the thing is, when I sit down and think about the house I want, the car I want, the children I want, the holidays, the money, like, it excites me. It puts me in that higher vibration, like, you know, Abraham Hicks talks about all the time about the vibration. And it's like, if I'm just like, well, whatever, it's like you're in that slump energy, and, you know, like,
you know, like with that whole thing, like you said, you get that desire, and there's something about that lights you up. And they say that any desire that you have is for a reason, and that desire has been put in your heart. But what I would always say to people as well is like, sometimes I'm like, that desire has been put in your heart so that you have that experience. But personally, sometimes I think the experience isn't what I think it's going to be. Like, I know a lot of people are like, they don't believe in, like, if something kind of goes quote unquote wrong, then it's like, well, no, you manifested it to go that way, and you could change it. But actually, I'm very much like, no, there's certain things that I've wanted in life, and then it's turned out that I've, you know, dodged a bullet, like, and I'm going, no. So actually, what that taught me was, it taught me things about the surrender process. It taught me, like, don't push something that's not meant for you. You know, that I remember it very clearly. Like, I was buying a house, and the sale process was not going well at all. And I kept thinking, well, I just kept pushing it and pushing it. And I remember then getting in the house, and the woman who lived upstairs from me was a complete nutcase. Like, she was abusive, she was horrible. And I just remember thinking within the first week, I went, I pushed this.
Yeah.
And I wasn't supposed to, maybe this wasn't the best, most aligned choice for me. But at the time I wasn't spiritual or anything. I was, I was raised Christian, but I wasn't connected on any kind of like spiritual journey. But yeah, I really felt that. And it's
and the thing is, you probably learned a lot there as well, like, because I think I've mentioned this on the podcast last week. Like, I was chatting to Neil Donald Walsh, and he doesn't agree we came here to learn, in a sense. He said we just came here to experience life. And I kind of agree with that, really, because it's, if you keep saying, oh, learn lessons, it's like that phrase, oh, I always learn the hard way. You learn as we're meant, as we grow, we develop mentally in stages, as a human does, from toddler to child to adolescent to adult. So we're all going through the same thing. And I think when it comes to manifestation as well, is that it's huge at the moment, isn't it? It's everywhere, it's spoken about everywhere, and it's a big thing. And for me, my advice for people manifesting is definitely surrender, because I was going to mention about when I was parted from Chris, the low moments, I was trying to force it, I was getting desperate, I was in that real, like, please God, like, I need a miracle. But then when I was in a higher vibration, it was, I'm going through this for a reason. We're going through this for a reason. We chose to go through this as a couple. We chose to go for this, the partnership. It helped us grow so much, as you know. And you look back at it and you think it was one of the biggest lessons we've ever been through. Yeah. And then coming from a place of, listening to Wayne's book, one of Wayne's greatest books is Power of Intention. He always says that that's a book that he doesn't think he wrote. He downloaded it. Yeah. He talks about, if, for anyone listening, if your thoughts on a daily basis are, oh, I've not enough money this month, please, universe, I need another 1,000 this month. You're coming from a place of lack. You're coming from a place of, I need more of what I don't have, instead of going to give me more of what I already do have, seeing the difference of being in gratitude for what you already have.
Yeah. It's just so subtle. Like, manifestation is so subtle. Like, and just, I always, I've done a section on it in the upcoming book, but it's like, just noticing your language and the words that you're using around the things that you're manifesting, like, even just down to the word, like, I'm trying to manifest. And it's like, you're trying, or it's done, like, because it's all about that feeling state and this whole, like, living in the end concept of, there's actually nothing to figure out. I just need to focus on the way that I'm feeling. That doesn't necessarily mean toxic positivity. Like, if you're having those intrusive thoughts on the daily, addressing where are those intrusive thoughts coming from, and what needs love here, what needs to be reprogrammed, and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's not about pushing or trying or like, but again, that's where I kind of go quite general then with manifesting, like, again, because like I said, because I've had personal experiences where what my heart desired, I then was like, oh, I think it's going in this direction. It wasn't going in that direction. And so now I go quite general, that I'm kind of like, let this kind of be for my highest and greatest good. I claim what is, my path of least resistance. I claim what is good for me. Just because occasionally, like, I said, I've had ego ideas about things that I think are going to be a vibrational match, and it's not a match. But again, that's just my experience. Everyone has a different.
I think it's key to self-aware as well, isn't it? Like you said, like, if you're self-aware and you're really in tune with what you really desire, you'll know if it's a mismatch. You'll go, like you said, with the house you're trying to manifest. If you were aware and you were in tune with your intuition, you would have gone, nah, it doesn't feel good. No, like, I've had that the last weeks where I've had, like, someone come into my life here in New Zealand, and I've just felt, not really, I don't really vibe with them. But then, and it turns out, that they're not good for me. And that's where like your intuition is constantly talking to you, is constantly. And I was driving home yesterday from dropping the kids off, and I remember thinking to myself, what is it I truly want? Because I want loads of things, like, and my mind changes all the time. I'm constantly changing my mind all the time. And I think that's a big key, isn't it? Is what did I do 4 years ago when I manifested Chris? I got specific in what I wanted in a husband. Yes. So if you're going through stages in life where you're a bit scatty and like, now I've got this dream life in New Zealand, which I wanted. And again, that what's next, like I need to just sit with what I've already got. And sometimes I'm like, my head's everywhere. Well, I want this and I want that. And so I think sometimes I need to sit and actually just, what is it I want right now? Right now in that moment.
I think in those states, it's very easy to sort of settle on a decision that's not really coming from spirit. It's, not coming from your higher self. It's just coming from the logical should do, and not from the true place of like divine inspiration. So usually in that state, I always say to people, you want to kind of try and stabilize your nervous system, like regulate yourself, come back to your center, coming back to feeling content. Yeah. And then really, like you say, feeling your way in that moment, bit by bit. Rather than, because a lot of the time we do that to just be like, I just need a direction so that I feel comfortable again. Like it can be really scary to be like, I don't know what direction I'm going in. And there's a lot of power to just be like, I'm okay to just float.
Yeah. Like that's kind of what I was doing. It was like, I just flow with it's balance, isn't it? It's definitely balance. Like I'm due to do my dream board soon. I've not done one for so long. And my friend here bought me a dream board for my birthday in September. And I'm starting to get the feels to do it now, especially because we're, moving forward in our life in New Zealand. So it's getting me excited to write down what's next for our life. And that gets me excited, is that you have this world of possibilities of, but again, one thing I used to struggle with is wanting things because others have it, and not coming into, like you mentioned, then into my center. And I stopped doing that, a few years ago, where I was like, it doesn't matter what they have. There may be something that they have that looks nice. I'd love that. And that's fine. But wanting it for me, wanting it for me. And that's something that so I started to really come into my true north of what I desired.
Yeah. And again, it's like, it's this balancing act, this manifesting balancing act of like the specific versus the non-specific, and understanding like the feeling state that you want behind each desire. And you can be specific because, like you said, you were very specific with Chris, but the things that you were specific with Chris were, there was a real feeling state and vision attached to those specifics. And I think when you don't know what those specifics are, it's just like, just focus on the feeling that you're seeking from that thing. And you can have an align to your own personal version of what that is. It might not, it could, maybe it's exactly the same thing. Or maybe it's just like you get your thing, but you get it in your way. Yeah. And I think, again, that's that whole thing of like people just narrowing off their expectations of this is the only possible way I could possibly get this manifestation. Like I could only possibly have 1 million by playing the lottery. Like I could only possibly meet a partner on a dating app because I don't do anything. There's nothing stopping you from meeting somebody in the supermarket. Like there's on a podcast, like a friend inviting you out, like, and you just don't know. And the possibilities are endless, but it's that not putting glass ceilings on yourself and just understanding that actually the universe can deliver your own personal version of happiness your way. And your way might look very different.
Wayne's coming through. He says, you don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are.
Yes, so that comes to like the self-concept thing of what you, like that's the whole thing of everybody being the mirror to you. And I think a lot of people don't like that idea that.
Well, he talks about in Power Intention is that this universe is an abundant universe. It knows nothing else. So it doesn't understand non-abundance, like lack. It doesn't understand that. So it's like, you've got to be that vibrational match. That abundance isn't just wealth. Abundance is health, happiness, relationships. It's everything. And I think as humans too, because we are so complex, we overcomplicate so much stuff. Like you said, manifesting is easy, it's simple, it's delicate, but it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be this huge. Again, with meditation, so many clients come to me, like I do meditation classes every week, and you don't have to have the perfect meditation cushion, the perfect music, the perfect posture. You just need to show up for yourself and choose yourself in the process.
Yeah, I think the only time that, like, I don't even want to say like manifesting, it's not complex, but it's when you don't see, like when you just said about you manifest what you are, and it's what you're being and the way that you're showing up. It only gets like, I don't even like to use the word challenging, but like when you really need to take a good look at yourself and say, me showing up in this way is perpetuating the same patterns in my life, and the change begins with me. Everybody's waiting for everything around them to change so that they'll feel better. Abraham Hicks says, like, stop placing your alignment on other people, like when you have to take responsibility for your own alignment. And you're not going to get a different result in your 3D reality if you keep doing and feeling and being the same thing. So this is where, like, the deeper inner work can come in if you really need to take a deep dive to become something very different. But it can take it. You can see the biggest results from the smallest shifts in belief systems. But actually, the principle of it is very simple. It's like, it's what you're being, and the feeling states, and the trust and the surrender.
And then Wayne's coming through again, as always, and he says, do you live in a hostile world or a friendly world? So, if you're constantly watching the news, reading news articles, looking at what's wrong with the world, that's in your being. You're being that because you're seeing it. It's like, that's why I don't watch the news anymore. I don't have the news within any. I just don't look at it. I don't read it. But if you see the world as a friendly world, it's a different thing, isn't it? If you're seeing all the badness in the world, all the crap that's going on, it's around you. It's honestly, like, last week I did a post about my life being drama free. Mm-hmm. Just to put out there, I was like, I've not got drama in my life, which is just great considering the toxic relationships I've had in the past. And within 2 days, drama came up.
Right.
Because drama. Yeah.
It's interesting. It's like, you literally, it doesn't even matter if you're saying, like, I'm free of something to some degree. It's literally like, but you're still activating the presence of it on the other end of the stick, as Abraham would say. So it's just like, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like, I am peace. Like, I am calm. Like, we don't even need to activate the concept of drama, like, in our reality, but again, it's like you say, it's so easy to, you think, it's just so easy for that to happen. And it's just like, well, like, this comes back to everything, isn't it? Like we just said about, is this like a lesson learned? But I think it's all about perspectives, like you said, about how do I want to choose to perceive my world? How do I want to perceive the possibilities available to me, Pippa as a character, Esther as a character? Because ultimately that is what we are to some degree. We come as like a character and an avatar, and we get to be a little bit more playful about, actually, if you step back and try to look at yourself through outside eyes and go, what is Pippa doing? Like, what is Esther doing? And like, what stories are they telling about themselves? I know I've had like a lot around like being an underdog and these kind of things, and actually how then that plays out in my reality now, and just taking those labels off, taking those things away, and choosing a new perspective and a new story. And that's the whole thing about ignoring the 3D, is it's not, you're not denying that what's happening in front of you is there, but you're not attaching the negative, limiting meanings to those things and making them mean something about you and what's going to happen for you. And I you know, that's a journey with everybody. Again, it's the same thing as surrender. Like, we've been doing it all our lives, attaching me because
when you mention about like perception, again, Wayne always comes through. It's like he's sat here going, say this. You know, he says when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And really that is exactly what it is. Like I said, if you're not watching the news all the time, you're not seeing it. It's like you're changing how you see things. You start looking at the possibilities, at the opportunities, at the abundance, at the how beautiful life is, at the green, how green nature is. Like here, I've never seen green like it in New Zealand. But it's like you go from doom gloom to like bright and light. It's so different.
Yeah, it's literally just like, it's just a click and a shift. Like that's all it has to be. Like there's the song Black and Gold, I think it's by Sam Sparrow, like the words just came through, and it's, if vision is the only validation, most of my life isn't real. So it's like, like you're literally, it's what you're perceiving with your eyes, and if you're making a negative assumption about what you're seeing, that's what continues to keep mirroring back to you. So it is all about flipping the way that you're looking at you and the world, and then it changes with you.
One thing I've learned, and I did learn it from Wayne, and it got brought up this morning on a call actually, someone tagged me in a post because I'd recommended someone in the same field as me, and she tagged me in this lovely story, and I said, you know, I learned this from Wayne actually. It was on a podcast years ago, and it just stuck with me, and I said I've always been that way, and now once he said this, it made sense to me. He said, whatever you desire for yourself, want it more for someone else. And I was like, that's so true, isn't it? Instead of just me, I want to manifest me, give everything to me, is the fact, like, you know, our desires might be slightly different, but ultimately you want to be rich. I want wealth. We all want money. Not one single person on this planet doesn't want wealth. It's a global desire. It's a global thing. You know, we all have different desires, what we want to do with our money. I'm very giving with my money. So it's like when he talked about that, because someone rang in on the podcast and asked him about, you know, about his family and the family not being happy for him. And he said, whatever you desire it more for other people, whether that's happiness, abundance, health. And that's the thing, is it's not about us, it's about everyone else, isn't it? And that's, you know, that makes me feel good, because, you know, you're in that serving energy.
Yeah. And it's just that, I think there's a few little points there really, is that not only is it kind of like, you know, love making the world go round, and it's from a manifesting angle. If you can wish and want that for somebody else, that shows what a state of abundance you are in. If you don't feel that you would be in lack, or that you feel like it shows, if you can genuinely wish that for somebody else so selflessly, that it shows that you genuinely believe there's enough for everybody.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I'm always like that. Like, my clients come around, they say, you know, I say to them, what do you desire? And especially when they come to HHT, I ask them, you know, when you leave this room today completely healed and ready for life, what do you desire? And they're like, oh, well, and they don't really know, because they don't really get asked that a lot. But when they leave and we've sat with it and we've spoke about what they desire, and they leave really happy and, you know, beaming with light, I sit and I spend a few moments wanting that for them so much, because they deserve it.
Yeah, this is quite an interesting concept. So I don't know if you remember when we were like doing stuff in the coaching groups. I can't remember if you were there then, but we did some stuff around like manifesting for each other. Yeah. And it's like, I personally believe, you see some people and they're like, that's nonsense. You can't manifest for someone else. It's just about you. And I'm like, I don't believe that at all. Like when you look at that either, no. when you look at the power of like meditation, when they put like, you know, I can't remember what the event was called, but where they brought all those people meditating into that town, and the power and the effect of the collective consciousness. And I think if you've got more than one person channeling love towards the same intention, why would that not be
exactly?
would that not be more powerful? Like, you look at the, two people bringing, a child into the world. That's two people coming into union to make something beautiful. That's not a one person job. So I just don't see how that's not possible.
Well,
But
think of it as a universe perspective. The universe wants for you exactly what it's exactly the same concept. So Wayne tells us to be more godlike, Christ-like consciousness is the goal. So if God wants, God, universe, source, however you kind of talk about it, is the God wants you to have exactly what he or she wants, how he, she. So it's exact same concept, in we're just following on that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that I just think it's so powerful and beautiful. And from a manifesting angle, I think it's great, because I used to say to people, what do you want? Like, what are you manifesting? And they'd say, oh, like, I'm manifesting this. And I'd say, I'm going to put you on my manifesting list. And they go, oh, really? And like, maybe there's a little bit of like, Tinkerbell fairy dust effect there, because they go, oh, well, Esther's a master manifester. So, she's got this in the bag for me. And then, but through doing that, it helped them let go. My friend who is like struggled with a lot of fertility problems, I wrote on there, and that she was going to have a baby, and she did have a baby. And that, that's amazing. And like, I'm not going to sit here and go, I'm responsible, but like, there was a lot of things on that list that came.
Well, it's intention. It's intention. That's exactly what it's an intention. Like, if someone comes here for healing, if it is just for Reiki healing, if it's just a talk, if it's for whatever, I set an intention with them every single time. What is your intention for today? It's the most powerful thing ever. And when you mention about manifesting for others, I manifest for Chris all the time. Yeah. So like, he's like, what have you been doing this week? I'm like, manifesting for you. He's like, because he's had some great opportunities the last few weeks with like work and jobs, and our life's completely transformed, since we started dating. But it works. And the thing is, just because it's that quote, isn't it, about by snuffing out someone's light, it doesn't make your light brighter, is the fact if you fan everyone else's flames, you're actually doing service. That's what the Tao teaches, to be in service of others, because it's about others. Like, God, universe serves everyone. So it's that same, it's mimicking how God is, how universe is. And that's where I'm at right now, is I know that I'm abundant. I know great things are in my life. I know that I'm going to be wealthy. I just know. But when clients come here, I'm like, I want that for you as well. And it's just the most powerful, beautiful thing to experience.
Yeah, it's just that beautiful, powerful, universal law of like, what you give out will always be returned to you. Like, absolutely. And I think if anyone's listening and you're like into manifesting, I would say get yourself a buddy, get yourself a circle, and say, let's all manifest for each other, because I guarantee you as well, that will help you in detaching and letting, because you're like, right, so-and-so's got my intention, and it's so powerful. It really helps to just be like, oh, you know what, I'm not even thinking about that right now, because I gave it to somebody else. Like, and it's literally like, but again, though, with manifesting with prayer, like, you're giving it over to the universe, you're giving it over to God. Why is that so hard? And it's probably because it is unseen. Whereas like when you give it like to a person, it feels a lot more tangible.
Yeah.
But obviously, don't go like blaming your friend when it hasn't materialized in the 3D. And I'll use the word yet, because that drives me bananas when people are like, oh, I didn't get what I wanted. And I'm like, it's been an hour. Like, yes, you can. Like, I'm like, yeah, you can have it in an hour. But at the same time, I'm like, you need to understand.
Timing, yeah.
Yeah. Or just, like just getting.
One tip that I always learned was, if you're doing like things to serve the world, like helping a homeless man, paying for someone's coffee, whatever it is, keep it between you and the universe. Because again, we come from a place of ego. We want to like, and it's great to share, as in like, I'm not saying don't share your wins, but come from a place of, that's what Wayne speaks about when he started getting spiritual. He would say things like, well, I'm Wayne Dyer, I'm a spiritual teacher, because he was talking about on stage. But when you come from a complete selfless place,
you're not doing it.
Yeah, it's just
no. Yeah. No, absolutely no. I think it can be like, I had a conversation with somebody earlier, because hadn't replied to their text, and I was explaining that yesterday I had to like help somebody with something. But you know, that was like an important part of my day, an important part of my life, that what we were doing yesterday. But it is that, it's like if I see, you know, they always say, or if you see somebody kind of like bragging about it, it's just like, you know, are you doing it with the pure intention of just doing it for love, or were you looking for the praise and the
back? Yeah.
Or just to, like you say, like fan your own flame, like paint a picture.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I share, like sometimes I'll go through like McDonald's for a coffee and I'll pay for the person behind me just because I'm in that state of, I don't do it every day. I don't do it every day. But you should see the faces. I look through the mirror and they're just like, what the F is going on? And I love it. And I'm like, I just give my thumb up, and I don't always share it, but it makes me feel so good that I get to do that for someone, and I don't expect anything in return. That's huge. I don't expect the universe to go, oh, well done, Pip, we're going to send you the money back for that McDonald's. It's so natural for me to be in that giving state.
I think it's, again, I've had this conversation on calls with clients before, is this energetic, call it a sweet spot, call it a balancing act, but just being like, I know there's a universal law that what I give out will be returned to me, but I get to give with no fear that
attachment from it as well.
But it's like, I know I'm going to get some, you know, but I'm not doing it to trick the universe, or I'm not doing to trick the system, or and it doesn't, and I think that's the important thing is I've put this in the book as well, like the giving is not going to be like a linear thing between you and one person. Like sometimes you have to understand, it's like I'm giving
in different ways,
back in different ways, and that, you know, you're going to give to certain people who have not got the capacity to return love to you. Like obviously now we're even bordering on like love languages, but like whether it's a thank you card, kind words, whether it's a present, whatever it is, like not everyone has got any capacity to give something back, but it just giving from that unconditional space of knowing that that was what was needed, that was what was loving. But it's also just, like you say, nice to know, like that what goes around always comes around.
So before we finish, let's touch on your book, because I know you've given a little snippet.
Me book.
Tell everyone about it and when it comes out.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's called Manifesting Happiness. Now there's like a subtag, like it's something like a journal to attract all good things. So it's a journal, but it's a lot more than a journal. I personally feel it's a lot more than a journal. I call it a journey of being. So what I wanted to create was something across 6 months where each week is themed on a different kind of topic, whether that is money, self-love, spiritual concepts like surrender, self-awareness, language like what we talked about, but understanding, showing the way that you're showing up in the world, the things that you're being, the way that you can, there's a lot in there about giving love and just the way that you show up. And I wanted to get people to really look at themselves and think about just things across the board, because listen, I've got loads of manifesting journals, but you know, I didn't want something that was going to be the same thing every day. I wanted to create something that was going to guide people to work on their self-awareness and to start to see actual changes in themselves that will have a ripple effect in the happiness that they're ultimately creating in the 3D reality. So I'm really excited about it. It's illustrated, it's got loads of cute little pictures. It's out in the UK on July 6th. It's out in the US on July 11th. I can't speak for all the other country dates and when they're coming out, but I know that's the core dates that is being released. Okay. And you can pre-order, like if you go on like Penguin Random House in the US, then it links you up to lots of different places, and DK in the UK is the same. So
I'll put the links in the show notes.
Retailer of choice, because I know not everybody wants to go to, you know, Jeffrey Bezos. Sorry, Jeffrey. So
we might have to.
Yeah, you'll have to go. You might have to go to Jeffrey down under. But yeah, it's I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be. I just hope it touches people's lives, and I hope that it improves their lives. That's what it's all about. I just hope it improves their lives.
It definitely
will. I'm sure it will. I don't hope. I know.
I'm really proud of you, though.
Thank you, Pippa.
Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you for staying up late in the UK.
Oh, you are most welcome. I'll go to bed now.
Yes, well, I'm going to put all your show notes, links on the show notes, and anyone can reach out to you. I know you're on Instagram. You've got an amazing YouTube channel.
I do. I will put this on the YouTube channel as well, so everybody can find it over there as well. But yeah, the YouTube is all about tools as well. Like everything is about tools, stuff that actually gets you to change your state of being, because that's where it all begins. So as much as I love a bit of knowledge, it's all about actually implementing that, and that's where the magic will happen.
Yeah, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, guys. If you want to reach out to me or Esther, please do. Please share this episode with your friends and leave a 5-star review. It really helps, like really, really helps. If that's something you can do today to serve me, it would be to leave a 5-star review and share it with a friend. So I hope you're having a great day wherever you are in the world, and we'll chat to you soon. Bye for now.